Hi everyone. I'm making this video for my Patreon sponsors as my March 2018 update. I've got lots and lots of news to share with you. This may be a little bit longer than other videos. If you have the time, I encourage you to stay with me so you can hear some of the really special and really neat things that are happening in my life. I'm hoping by sharing this, especially to people who maybe they don't have the money to sponsor this channel, but need to know that there's a life beyond having a physical disability or living with a chronic health condition. So let me start with my first update. It's actually about my own physical disability. I had two very serious assessments during February 2017. The first was on February 15th with a physiotherapist. The nature of this was trying to get a sense of what I could be doing differently. We've had a lot of snow this winter, and I haven't been able to go to the pool near as often as I was doing in the fall of 2017. And I was able to work out that the pain in my knees was lasting for 2.5 days over just 1 hour in the pool. It's well accepted that when you do exercise for physio, you only want to create 1 hour or at the most 2 hours worth of pain. Otherwise, you've done too much. So ultimately, I ended up in a very in-depth discussion, and it was very helpful to me. The physiotherapist's conclusion was that I've been chasing a recovery that was never going to happen. How this got reached is I had my second hip replacement in February 2015. 3 weeks later, my right knee joint seized for the first time recently. It had done this back years ago, but then with my hip joints seizing and the surgeries and the loss of mobility, my knee issues kind of just faded away because of not being as physically active. As soon as I had the hip replacement, the second one done, I wanted to try to regain my mobility. And with the increased function, my knees immediately returned to what I was dealing with before the loss of use of my hips in 2006. A second arthritis attack happened, and then a third one occurred by June 2015. What the physiotherapist said to me is, if your recovery is not established and progressing by the 3-month mark, it's not going to happen. I don't regret trying. I need to have the peace of mind that if I do elect to have my knee joints replaced, I won't have any nagging what if or regrets or be second guessing myself. So it hasn't been a waste. There's also been all kinds of youth and young adults that I've been able to listen to and support, but specifically to my disability, it was completely worth it to have endured the challenges and then begun raising questions when this didn't work out. The second assessment was on February 27th. This was with a physiatrist. So in common English, you could consider a physiatrist to be a sports injury doctor. They see you as a whole person, where a surgeon will see you as an elbow joint or a hip or a knee joint. The physiatrist is taking a complete overview of your life and recommending the next steps forward. The physiatrist's conclusion reflected that of the physiotherapist. I've exhausted the physiotherapy option. I'm needing invasive knee treatment if there's an opportunity for me to improve. But he cautioned me to weigh the pros and cons of it. My decision going forward is that I've been chasing this around for 13 years now. I've had 5 orthopedic surgeries. Each surgery was sold to me with great rewards, and it was going to be very promising. That's not happened. I'm not convinced that there won't be more challenges if I get my knees replaced. I've decided to focus on this YouTube channel and on the website to go with this and just be able to live my life for a while and then see where I'm at. I don't entirely know how to say this to you, but part of it's the measuring the risks and rewards. Part of it's that I'm committed to my life and, plan A didn't work. Let's try something else. And then there is the financial component to this where I'm doomed to a life of poverty if I don't have an opportunity for self-employment. And I'm trying really hard to make something of my life. And I would like the enhanced quality of life that having some proper cash flow would give. Right now, the disability pension I receive is roughly $4,000 Canadian a year below the line of poverty for a single adult. I'm committed to my life. I've got what I could get out of the hip replacements. It's time to move on and do things differently. And I'm working that out as I go through these next weeks. I've completed my 2017 income tax return, and I'm really grateful for the disability pensions that I do receive. They aren't perfect by any means, but when I start looking around the world and what other countries have to offer, there really is something special here in Canada, and it's not perfect, but I could be a whole lot worse off. And so I'm grateful for what this country does provide me with. And I don't really have to worry about having a shelter. And as long as I'm very, very, very careful, there's provision for food, although money's tight. Another thing I have to share with you is part of my vision for going forward. A few months back, I selected 3 color laser printers that I would consider purchasing. So this is to go along with this effort. When I was in my teen years, I was the editor, and I guess you would call it a secretary, for a church newsletter where I lived. It was for the entire county for that specific denomination. I did the typing of the articles and the layout on the computer, and it was something that I enjoyed doing. So as we've gone through the past decade, the term desktop publishing has become more and more common because of the improvement in printers. I've decided to invest in a color laser printer. It's a multifunction machine that also includes the copier scanner and fax functionality. I had one of them bookmarked that I was never going to be able to buy because it was $900 with tax, but the local office supply store had it on sale for $250 off, and I went ahead and purchased it. I'm hoping to write some books that I could in part sell on my website, but also give one away each month to the people that are using these videos. I'm going to make my first book, hopefully in the fall, around the topic of identity. That is, finding your identity when you're living with chronic illness. I'm going to make it an exercise book, almost like a correspondence course, where there'll be a section for teaching and then a section for you to write down what is appropriate for your life in the situation you're in now. I've got about 8 topics in mind for this. I just need a block of time where I'm focused on this. I have some other stuff going on in my life right now, so the fall is when I think I'll be able to focus on it and bring it from start to completion. So it's things like this that the printer's purposeful, and I see it as an investment. I don't want you to feel envious of me or jealous. I understand that it's an expensive printer, but it's a tool for a specific job. And I think it's going to serve us well. I've continued the process with organizing my office supplies. So what I've done over the past month or so is purchased a total of 3 shelves. A friend came over a few weeks ago and helped pack up a section of my office supplies and tools. And then we were able to get the first shelf into position. Then 2 youth came over to my home and they started loading my supplies onto the shelves. So I'm about 70% done right now. There are some more office supplies that need to get put onto the shelves. I've been very specific with this. I've been putting labels on the shelf, so when I use something, it has a home to go back to, and this will be my system. In tomorrow's mail is going to be a set of wheels for each shelf. I'll need some help putting these on, and I'm sure friends will step up for this. What this is going to enable me to do is just roll the shelf out, either dust underneath it, or if something's fallen, use my reacher grabber to pick it up off the floor, and then the shelf will be able to go back into position. It's the use of wheels that are going to give me the most independence. And I'm really looking forward to this. It's part of me taking back my life and not giving up I'm 40 years old and I still have all kinds of zeal for life in me. What I'm working through right now in my cleaning, apart from the shelves, is my bills. So there is some merit in retaining my bills. For example, I can claim the cost of housing for my disability. So I need to keep the old bills. However, it makes sense to me to keep only scanned copies on my computer, with a backup of course, and no longer have a filing cabinet drawer full of the old ones. So I've been in the process of scanning them and then shredding them. And you'll see here in this picture, this week's progress had me fill 3 bags of shredded utility bills. So the process is going along really smoothly, and it's something that I know I'm able to see through to completion. With my modified paper shredder, this is something that I can do myself. There are times when I have a friend come over to my home because, I need help changing the filter on my furnace, for example, or I can't reach something. But with my modified paper shredder, it's right in my part of the world where I can reach it. And then taking a bag full of paper shreddings is also easy for me to do. So I've wore out my paper shredder. The one that I just finished wearing out, I purchased about a decade ago. I've mail ordered this replacement micro cut one. What you're looking at is the eBay ad that I've purchased it off of. It'll be here next week, and I'll be able to continue with the process of shredding my bills before I put them out for recycling. Overall, I'm pleased with this. I will be making a video about this process more in depth to help some of you who might think this is an option for your own system of storing and managing your bills. I have a few updates about the server process. There's a few specific things I've been able to complete. I'm creating my own case for our new server, and it's going to consist of a bunch of individual servers. Each will have its own task, and then when it's time to do upgrades, it won't be the entire server that goes offline, it'll be a specific section. Right now, it's either all or none, and I much prefer this approach. So what I need to do is make my own case. I'm going to make it fashioned like a parking garage. So it's going to be open on the four sides, and then there'll be some threaded rods and layers of plexiglass or Lexan plastic that will form the layers that hold the motherboards, the USB powered hubs, and the hard drives. I need to have my own cooling system in place. So I've finished now modifying the 8 fans that are normally used in a desktop computer. The modification is changing the connection that powers them. They're not going into a desktop computer, but they still need a 12-volt DC power source. So it was easy enough to take the wires out of it, cut them off, figure out which was positive and negative, and then connect it to a adapter that's common for 12-volt DC, and then the wire, the liquid electrical tape, and coating the wires so there's not a short circuit. So I now have all 8 fans completed. My plan is to use 4 and have 4 on standby. Why I chose this method is if I'm having the server myself, then it's my responsibility to take care of it. I do a lot of shopping online. I find things so much less expensive when they come from an Asian country. And so I want to have a backup set of fans here, and then when the set does need to be changed, I can bring in another 4 and put the 4 that I've prepared into service very quickly, because it's just going to be a matter of unplugging, plugging it in, and then setting the new one on the rail that's going to go with it. So it's progressing nicely. That's the message I want you to take from this, and I'm really enjoying it. I enjoy using my hands and seeing what I create. I also want to share with you that I'm in the progress of making a DC noise filter circuit, again, for the servers. So the servers are going to all have the same electrical power supply. So it's a big box, about like this. Okay? Power comes out of it, but if this box, short circuits or wears out, it could completely wreck the servers. So the DC noise filter is like an insurance policy. It's worth protecting it because of the cost of the hard drives, the single board computers, and the powered hubs that are all going to be part of it. You will know something similar to what I'm making if you've ever seen a laptop computer. Near the top of laptop computer power supplies is a cylinder shape. It's just before it plugs into the laptop. That cylinder is a passive filter to help make the electricity suitable for the laptop. It's something similar that I'm doing myself in these circuits that I'm showing you. What I want to talk about next is my new office desk. I'll tell you a quick story. Someone was over to my home about 4 years ago. People get intrigued about my wheelchair. It seems to interest people, and sitting in it helps someone understand what my life's like. So someone sat in it and accidentally drove it into the table that has been holding my laptop computer and external monitor. It damaged the frame and I want to replace it now. So with the shelves that I showed you earlier, they were actually meant to be assembled in 2 sections. But I'm good at using my hands, so I bought my own wood and redid the posts in the 4 corners. So I have all these little half-length edges left over. So I'm using these to make a desk that will hold, as I said, my laptop computer and the screen. And it's just going to be a matter of trimming the wood to shape. One of my good friends is a contractor, and I know that he'll do this for me, when our schedules can connect. I'm looking forward to this. I like to take care of my stuff. It's not that stuff owns me, but this is my life, and it's one way that I'm able to demonstrate to home care workers or nurses or doctors that I'm engaged in life. And it helps doctors be motivated to help and want to help. For my home, I've decided to make a 12-volt battery backup sump pump. So my basement has flooded 3 times now since 2004. It's not serious. It's not a finished basement. I'm not down there all the time, but I don't want to wreck my furnace and hot water tank. So I'm going to make a 12-volt battery backup sump pump. So either if the water coming in needs pumping out faster or the AC sump pump gives out, what you're looking at, this marine submersible pump will take up the extra slack until I'm able to deal with the real issue of replacing the sump pump. So it's something I enjoy doing. There's a little bit of thought behind this, and it'll be rewarding when I get this all set up. I'm going to hire a contractor to do the installation, and some friends are willing to help with the grunt work. So they'll be the brains of the operation. I know how to do it, but I physically can't. So there'll be someone there that can direct, and friends are good to me, and I do appreciate it, and there'll be some grunt work that's needed to get this all set up. I'm really looking forward to this and the protection and the peace of mind that it will give me. I have purchased a new phone for my desk. This is a look at it. So this is a really high quality phone. I purchased it used, and it runs the Linux operating system, so I don't need to use it with the branding that it was made for. I'm able to tweak the settings so it's able to be used in my home. This phone has a capacity to share or store 300 contacts, and with some tweaks, I'm going to be able to use the screen to display the high priority to-do list for my websites. This phone connects to the internet, and I'm going to be able to use it to prompt me for what administrator tasks need to happen for the website to keep it running smoothly and in a timely fashion. So I'll give you an example. I want to have a forum on the website to go with this YouTube channel. It's important to me that we can talk, and maybe the specific video topic isn't applicable to everyone, but there's going to be common themes by sort of forum channel topic, if I can say it that way. So the phone, I want to moderate each person's first few posts to make sure they're not spamming the forum. So the phone will be able to show me I need to go approve a posting. And it'll be things like this that it will help me with. It will also help me when I get the online store going, and it'll be able to remind me that I have something that I need to ship out. So that's the desk phone. For about 8 months now, one of the staff at the gym has been highly encouraging me to buy myself a cell phone. just for when my wheelchair eventually breaks down as I go back and forth. I think it's wise to do this. I need to make sure that I can afford it, although there are prepaid options. One of the youth that I know is upgrading his phone and has graciously offered to give me his old one. And so this is what I'm going to pursue. So when I get it, that will mean I'll need to search for a provider, and then I'll be able to have that with me. And if I need to call for help because my wheelchair broke down, I'll be able to do so. This will also give me the ability to post to Instagram when I put new videos up, and that's also important to me. I want to be reaching people and help people have the best quality of life that's possible. So I've got some things to look forward to, and my to-do list kind of grew again, but it happens. So I know this has been longer than normal. I want you to know how much I enjoy doing this, and I appreciate the encouraging comments I receive periodically. I don't take it lightly that you've welcomed me into your life. And I know for some of you, it's that you're feeling really vulnerable, and these videos are helping. I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you for trusting me and having me part of your life. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.